Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zenker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. Hello, and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zenker, and I'm the host of this show. And we're talking today to Phil Smith, and he's got a great deal of experience that we're going to talk about lead generation. So for those of you who are managing your own company, you might be a solopreneur, you might be a senior exec at a company, you might be in a sales position. This is something you're going to want to listen to. So let me tell you a little bit about Phil and his background. He's a nationally recognized solopreneur and business investor with a knack for helping entrepreneurs and business leaders to identify key verticals to exponentially grow their business over and over again. He's a serial entrepreneur with 20 years of experience. He's sold over 3 companies, and for 3 years in a row, he's made the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing companies in the country. And he's got a heart for helping people in their businesses, both big and small, solving problems and making money in new and interesting ways. So need I say more, but let's just get into the conversation with Phil and let's make some money.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And,
my pleasure. So you're the king of lead generation. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants more leads. They want to have more sales, and they feel like it's all coming down to the number of leads that they have. But it's also the number one problem that people have is getting more leads. So what would you say is the biggest mistake that people are making when they're looking at lead generation?
Yeah. So the biggest mistake I would say is that a lot of companies try to go about it on their own and without speaking to people that obviously know what they're doing. I see that over and over. But the biggest thing is that they don't know what works for them. So what I mean by that is, for example, internet marketing has changed drastically. I started my first business in 1998, and back then it was just Yahoo. And there was a unique way to get number one on Yahoo. And then Google comes out in the early 2000s, changes things up. And of course, it's just changed and changed and changed.
Changing every year, multiple times a year.
Exactly. And even if you are an expert at Facebook, that changes practically monthly with how their algorithm changes. So you really have to stay on top of things. And because TikTok all of a sudden comes about, even people trying to make money on Snapchat and all these different platforms, the problem is that trying to keep up with it is really difficult. Even if you are good at it, trying to keep up with the changes is difficult. It is a full-time job. So companies usually just going down the wrong path. They're using the wrong platforms. They're doing the wrong targeting. But one thing I'll say is that the biggest secret sauce that I have beyond just generating leads for a business is monetizing your leads outside of your core services. So I'll give you an example.
Well, wait a second. I want to hear about that, but I want to go back to the mistake that people are making, right? So before we go into the secret sauce and some ideas, I just want people to let that land because you might have said some things that didn't resonate with them. So I want them to be able to understand. So my interpretation of what you're saying is that a lot of companies out there, they know just enough to be dangerous. And I represent that right there, where they're throwing their money. It's like spray and pray. They're throwing their money out and they're frustrated time after time. They're not getting the results because they're just dabbling. They're just spraying and praying that something's going to happen. They don't have the knowledge of each of these platforms. And very often, because I've seen this too with companies that I've coached, is that they are on the wrong platform for them. They read an article that said you should be Facebook advertising and their target market isn't even on Facebook and they're advertising and throwing their money away. So am I connecting like that part of what you're saying, right? About needing some expertise and really defining also your target market to be sure that you are on the channels where your best customers are.
Right, 100%. And so I'll give you an example. So when I started running Facebook ads myself in 2014, I was doing it in the business loan space at the time. So I'm running ads the way I am is I need to know everything about my business across the board, right? I just need to have an understanding, because when I do outsource it, or I do have a consultant or an agency or whatever, and they start running ads for me, I know what's possible. So it's really important to me to go find the right people right off the bat, because if I know I'm generating, let's just say, a lead for $10, and I go to somebody and they're generating for $20 and they say, no, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? It's supposed to be $10. I'm already doing it. But so many companies will go to an agency, for example, and they'll just tell them it's $20 right at the gate, and like, oh, $20 doesn't work. I guess it doesn't work for me. Right. So I've seen that happen many times. Right now, literally just 2 weeks ago, we're running our own ads for a TV. We get companies interviewed on TV. Okay. So we're running ads for that on Facebook right now. Our lead cost is $8 for that. We contacted another company that does the same thing just to learn about them and see maybe there's a way that we can work with them. Maybe they're doing something we're not doing. Long story short is they told us that they tried to run Facebook ads and it didn't work for them. And we're sitting here running Facebook ads and we're crushing it, right? So it's just funny how we say it all the time. So you have these companies out there that just try things. Maybe they just try them once and it didn't work and that's it. And they move on instead of realizing, no, you just got to put more effort in and you just have to find the right people, obviously, that know what they're doing, which we already know that. But so many companies just quit too soon in the different platforms that they're using, that there's more than one way to do it. And some of them are pretty complicated. Google and YouTube are more complicated than any other platform. Facebook is very simplified, especially how they changed it over the years, but there's still different tweaks and different things that you can do to try to drive down your lead costs and get the right target.
Okay. So what I heard you say, which is an important point to pull out, was that they quit too soon. Some of these, you're very much relating it to digital advertising. And so since we're talking about lead generation, I want to have everybody understand that that can be across any strategy, right? That's not just for digital advertising. So we quit too soon because we don't get the insights and then tweak it and then continue to tweak it. Everybody wants this like quick fix, get rich quickly. It takes time to build a really effective campaign that's going to crush it for you, right? So whatever that is, whether it's digital, whether it's direct marketing or email marketing, whatever it is, it still takes some time to get that. And the other thing that I want to pull out of what you just said is that people aren't tracking it as well effectively. Like you hinted on that, right? Is that you want to know everything about your business. You want to know every stage so that you can track it and effectively know which levers you are tweaking so that once you improve the conversion, right, then the more money that you put into it, the more you're going to convert, right? So that tracking element is also what I heard you say was really important.
There's actually something I'll throw out there also is that your entire funnel needs to work together. So if you're driving traffic to a landing page, and let's just say you got a horrible conversion ratio, then now you got to increase the conversion ratio on your landing page and optimize that. Then from there, you got your sales process. Like we use a lot of video. So somebody fills out a form on our website, we're going to send them to a video. A lot of companies don't do that. They want to send them to a scheduled call because they want to talk to everybody. That's very time consuming. And then from there, the long term, the email marketing, SMS marketing, we do a lot of live Q&As from a sales process. Like Kevin Harrington over here, right? Original Shark on Shark Tank. These guys do very well overall. And his son lives about 20 minutes from me. And I was just on the phone with him yesterday and he goes, they tell me about a campaign that they're running. And so I gave him all these ideas on how to drive down his lead cost. From right now, it's about $10 down to zero. And that's another thing that we'll talk about in a second is how to drive down your lead cost by monetizing your leads outside of your core product or service. But one other thing I'll say about an ads, pretty much every marketing strategy can work for a business. Like we just said, they quit too soon. Maybe don't try things like direct mail. Direct mail works. I know a lot of people have tried direct mail and they just give up too soon. You just have to have the right budget in place to really get it done right. But I'll throw this at you. TikTok, right? We started running TikTok ads for something about a year ago. And we were getting leads for $1, which is unheard of today, right? For the stuff that we do. So we're getting leads for $1. And I said, there's no way we cannot make a profit. It's $1 lead. So after a month, 2 months, we're actually not making a profit. Now I could have just quit and said, all right, it's not working. We weren't spending much, like $100 a day, nothing crazy. So then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, well, let's tweak the funnel. Let's make changes. The people from TikTok have very short attention spans. So you can't push them through an hour-long video like we had. Right. We had to change it up. So instead of saying TikTok doesn't work, we changed the funnel around to fit the TikTok mindset or just their user behavior. And then all of a sudden it started becoming profitable after another month or two, testing out and changing things up. So we had to basically put shorter videos in front of them to get them more interested in what we're doing and then go to longer videos and whatnot. So a lot of things work very well. It's just, again, whoever's managed it, the business owner, et cetera, just doesn't know enough and how to do it, how to put everything in place. And the best thing I've ever done in my career over the last 10 years is join mastermind groups. Hire a mastermind. I've been a part of War Room Mastermind. I'm part of Rise Nation right now with Damon John, also from Shark Tank. And I put myself around that type of person or that type of group of people who are at the top of their game. The best investment I ever made. They're definitely more expensive. You're talking about $20,000 to $50,000 a year, but it's so worth it because the knowledge you will gain from people that are in that room that are at the top tier in the marketing industries, you can't beat that. You will solve your problems in 5 minutes and you'll meet the right people day
Absolutely.
one.
I'm a big believer in that as well. I mean, what's the expression? What got you here isn't going to get you there. So if you're hanging out with the same people, you're going to stay where you are, right?
Exactly.
If you really want to take it to the next level, then you go to the people who are already doing it 10 times. So I'm a big believer in that. So let's talk about that secret sauce now, right? So people get it. They can see how it relates to their business, whether it's online or offline or whatever type of format. So tell us, you said how you help people to drive down the cost and to help to monetize leads that are outside of their lead pool. So what does that mean? Like, I don't understand what you mean.
The first time I started doing it myself, back in 2014, I was generating business loan leads. That business loan lead went from $18 a lead in October of 14. By the time October of 15 came, that lead was $70. Okay. So I couldn't make a profit anymore. So I'm sitting there saying, okay, I'm generating, I forget how many leads a day at the time, but let's just call it 100 leads a day, 100 leads a day. And I said to myself, okay, I'm losing money now. What do I do? So in my form, I started asking additional questions. So at the time, again, it was a business loan lead. So I started asking them the credit score. If they had a low credit score, I would sell that lead off to a credit repair company. If they were in business for a certain amount of time, over 2 years, I had a business credit services company that would buy that lead for me. I had a company called NAV, which did business credit monitoring at the time. So they monitored business credit. They took the leads in. Then I started working with marketing companies because every business needs marketing help. So I was selling off those leads. I started finding more like a startup lender, right? So the key is I started putting all these other companies in play to start monetizing leads, doing other stuff outside of the business loans that I was doing. At the time, it was about $8 to $10 lead cost. I started making a profit on the leads before I even did my stuff, my core thing that I was doing at the time.
So you're taking those leads that are coming in and you're, for lack of a better word, you're categorizing them, you're creating separate lists from them and you're selling them off to other companies that could benefit.
Right. So I'll tell you what I'm doing literally today. So right now, like, as I said before, I'm generating off Facebook. I'm generating leads for companies that want to be on TV, interviewed on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, right? So we're generating that lead. On the form, I'm asking them, hey, are you interested in a business loan or line of credit? Are you interested in marketing services on Facebook, Google, YouTube, et cetera? So I'm asking additional questions. Mm-hmm. If they say yes, they're interested in marketing, I have a company that will pay me $56 if I get that person to sign up for a free trial for the marketing services. TikTok, right, themselves will pay me $46 if I get someone to set up a TikTok advertising account. I have companies that will buy the business loan leads for me. I have a startup lender that will pay for startups. I have business credit company that will have business credit. InkFile will pay me $125 if I get them to set up a corporation through them. Right. So that's the thing. I just want to sell TV interview services, but here's, 5 other companies. As long as they fill out the form correctly, the lead will go to the right person. It's all automated. Right. So once I drive my lead cost down to zero, I just ramp as much as I want because now leads for my core services are free.
That's awesome. So for those of you who are listening, right, this can be done in a lot of different areas, right? It's how do you multi-purpose an asset that you have, right? So in this case, you're getting those leads in, you're not necessarily able to use them, but somebody else will, drives your price down, makes it more profitable. So I want you guys to be thinking, could you be doing this with leads? Could you be doing this with your existing customers, right? Where you can create other partners where they have other needs. And with a simple survey, you could pass them along and create a win-win by recommending and referring them somewhere. So yeah, how can you multiply the value of the assets that you have and make it a multiplier? coming back to other strategies. So you're talking about doing ads and making effective ads. Is that your main area, or what other types of tips or tricks could you give people who are listening to help to maximize their lead generation so that they're getting more conversion, right? Because that's also a major issue. I don't know if that's something you can speak to, but let's say I get these leads in, how do I convert more leads?
Right. The automation is key, right? So once you are generating leads, driving traffic to your site, I mean, to be honest, that's the easiest thing anybody can do today with all the platforms. Of course, doing it correctly and for the specific company, that's its own issue, right?
Right.
So, but let's just say you do have the right traffic and you can generate as much traffic to your site. The rest of it is just the rest of the funnel. So your conversion optimization. I see so many companies drive traffic to their site to just go try to buy something. It's the last thing you want to do. You want to collect the data. Data is so important. It's the most valuable thing you can ever have. I do not let anybody do anything with me unless they give me their information first. I have millions and millions of leads that we've generated, but in my Aweber account, which is my email marketing software, I have 800,000 emails just in that account alone. They're all B2B. It's all businesses. So when I come up with a new offer or something that we're doing, I just send out an email to 800,000 people and just see what happens. So I have people that have been following me since like 2008 or late 2000s when I started getting involved in this type of stuff and having a following. What happened was they literally show up to my masterminds today. But I've been following you for 13 years. I think that's crazy, but that shows the value of the data and keep advertising to it, because whatever you do down the road that changes, you still have that. But even if it is a company that just has the data and it's your own customers, your own leads, your age leads, whatever, that's still valuable. You can't just throw that away, because maybe you do come up with something down the road in 6 months, a year, 2 years. Now, once you have that data, having that automation, emailing them, texting them with different messaging, the further down your funnel they go, you want to hit them with different messaging. Right. You want to, let's just say a company is interested. One thing I will throw out there, if someone is listening to this right now and say, okay, you know what? I have another service that I could promote on the side as a partner company, or I'm going to become an affiliate of TikTok or whoever, right? What you want to do, really important, you want to create another list. You can't just have one list and email all your leads from that one list about different offers, because if they unsubscribe from your core service, you don't want them to do that. You want to create another list that's just for service A, service B, service C, service E. Right. And so if they unsubscribe from service A, no big deal. You can still hit them with other stuff. So it's very important, because a lot of people do it wrong and they turn around and they say, oh, wow, I just lost a lot of people because I sent out an offer nobody wanted. And so I will tell you,
relevant and contextual to what somebody's looking for is really important, right? Exactly. And I like that tiered approach, that they're in your database, but you can have them opt out of one list, but still in another list.
Yes, 100%. And it's funny, like over the years, I spoke at a War Room Mastermind event, I think in 18 or 19, and I think it was 19. And I spoke about this, monetizing your data. 250 people that all generate at least $1 million in revenue. And I had no idea on how it would go over. The first time I ever spoke about this in public, because I was doing it myself. I was shocked on how many people came up to me over the next 2 days, but at least about 20 people. One guy, Michael Perella, who owned I Love Kickboxing at the time, it's a franchise. He goes, Phil, I never thought about this. We generate like 90,000 leads a month. Never thought about it. We got to talk. And then I couldn't believe it, how many companies weren't doing this. Yeah. So over the years, as I started getting out there, I started telling everybody, hey, you should do this. I literally had 3 people in my last 3 business trips come up to me that I've known for years. This one guy, he's out of Austin. His name is Brad. He has a merchant processing company. I was in San Diego in March, and he goes, I ran into him at the bar. Man, I got to tell you, you put another 6 figures a month in my pocket. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, back in 2019, when you spoke at War Room, that's always stuck with me. I finally did it. He goes, I can't believe I didn't do it sooner. I finally do it. Long, right? Yeah. He goes, I have 7 other ways of monetizing my leads now. He goes, it's changed everything. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, all right, so you're buying the first round is what you're telling me. Absolutely. And then multiple people have come to me saying that they put 6, 7 figures in their pocket because they started implementing this. So,
yeah. I hadn't thought about selling leads in that way, but I am a big fan of doing more with what you have. and that there's so many low-hanging fruit opportunities that companies have that they're just sitting there. And like this other guy said, right, he finally got around to it. So one of them is getting people to be aware of it. And the second thing is getting people out of their own way to take action so that they can actually achieve that. And like you said, and we'll bring it around to where you can tell people where they can find more information about you. You don't have to do it all yourself. You don't know how to do all these things yourself. So it's finding the right people to help you to implement it quickly and capitalize off of those assets that you already have. So how can people get in touch with you, and where would you suggest that they go?
Yeah, philipfsmith.com in the top right there, 1L. philipfsmith.com. That's my personal site. We have a lot of sites, obviously, but that's my personal site. I've been partners with Kevin since 2018. We do a lot of stuff together. So we speak at events if we need to. We do our own events where people come and hang out with us, and we teach them all the stuff that we're talking about right now. I do a lot of stuff in the financial space, business loans, mortgages, a lot of lending. I love the B2B space. I'm not really a consumer person. I can certainly help companies that point in the right direction, but I don't really do products. I'm more service-based.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you feel you want to make sure that you let the people know who are listening?
Nothing crazy. I'll just say, just understand that 100% can be better. Everything I'm talking about might go over a lot of people's heads, but I'm telling you, you give me any marketing strategy, I 100%, unless you're Amazon, I will 100% make that marketing strategy better if someone does need that type of help. But yeah, there's so many strategies, so many things that you can do, automations, whatever, that you'd be mind blowing to people when you just open up that book, the first page, like, oh my God, there's a whole book on this. Like, it's crazy. And that's the only reason why I've been a one employee company for so long, making the Inc. 5000 list. Actually, this year will be my 5th time on that list. I'm still one employee. So automation, software, technology, that's what you need to implement if you don't have it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Phil, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for being here. I hope that you took something away. And remember that even if you're not an entrepreneur and you're not running your own business, how can you do more with what you already have? How can you leverage the assets that you already have? I think you can bring some of these into that space as well. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs running your own business and bringing leads in, this is definitely check out Phil's site and definitely take a step back and put some time, block it now on your calendar to give this some thought and to dig in a little bit as to how you can create a marketing strategy like this that could add another 6 figures to your business. Why not, right? My name is Penny Zenker, and this is Take Back Time. We'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes, just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on Time to Reset. We'll see you in the next episode.